Hi, Frank Blanchet here. It's an honor to be deputized to do a little reflection on a Tuesday morning. Thank you, Reverend Wanda. First of all, let me just explain that when I appear to be lecturing to you, I'm lecturing to myself because these things apply to me, and talking to you serves as a reminder to me about what I'm going to talk about and how to best proceed in my life. I want to talk today about mountain climbing. Now, when we lived up in northern Alberta, we did a fair bit of mountain climbing, but before you get all impressed, it was not technical climbing. It was just very, very steep hills, hands and knees climbing. There were no ropes and ladders and belaying material. It was just hard walking. But I want to quote from a book that I read a long time ago, and perhaps some of you have heard of it. It's called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert Pirsig. And he talks about mountain climbing. I'm paraphrasing. He says, mountains should be climbed in an equilibrium between boredom and exhaustion. If you're bored, speed up. If you're exhausted, slow down. The reality of your own nature should determine your pace. Now, when I was teaching young children, grade 1, 2, 3, and you got them to draw a mountain, they would draw a mountain that looks something like this. That's your straightforward, simple mountain as perceived by a child. The sun is always shining, and you'll notice the climber, he's going to work. A couple of birds in the background there, but it's a linear journey. It's from point A to point B. Pretty simple. Now, mountains can represent a lot of things, almost whatever you want. They can represent faith, hope, goals, enlightenment, health, and they represent a journey or a process. Now, here's how the child sees the mountain. And maybe that's how some people see faith. I don't know. I think a more realistic picture of a mountain, one drawn by a grown-up, would look more like this. This is just the left side of the mountain, and it's full of peaks and valleys. It's not a linear A to B process. It's one step at a time. We have A here, then B here, then C here. And you'll notice that our climbers end up in valleys. Now let's take this poor climber here. He just spent a whole lot of time going from the bottom only to have to go back down again. And he's puzzled and surprised and probably frustrated. Geez, I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm not going up anymore. But what he doesn't realize, perhaps, because the sun doesn't always shine on this mountain. Real mountains, you can have snow move in, you could have rain, you could have sunshine. And up here it gets so cold you got to take extra jackets and everything. But this poor guy doesn't realize that climbing down or descending is part of the process. So I'd like to talk a little bit about what we do when we're in these valleys. Well, I guess number one, being in a valley, either in life or on a real mountain, the thing to do is not to panic and waste your energy. It's a time for reflection, perhaps, a time for prayer, for sure, and a time for perhaps consulting or reaching out to some of the other climbers. Now, this fellow, he's been where this fellow is, and so he might be a real good choice of someone to reach out to for some practical advice. Hey man, I need some help here. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Now that could be a prayer. And prayers are always answered, but I'll guarantee you, I've never found they've been answered in the form that I expect. I mean, I guess the form that I expect, or that some people expect, is for some angel to appear and helicopter herself or himself down and lift you off the mountain right up to the top. Well, that's not how it happens. We get our help through other people. God works through other people. So, this fellow, he might turn around and say, well, he might offer a bit of gentle encouragement, or he might say, hey man, get your arse in gear. If I can do it, you can. Muster up the guts and suck it up and get up here. Now that's as much an answer to a prayer as a gentle approach. So, many of us are in a valley right now. I think when you consider the pandemic, which I hope is coming to an end, pray that it is, when you consider the residential school situation, we are definitely, or could be, in a valley. So remember, perhaps it's a time to rest, take your time, pray, and look for help around you. So that's what mountain climbing is all about in a nutshell. Just remember, when I was a child, I thought as a child. When I became a man, I thought as a man. There are many people who have this sort of Pollyannish view of life and faith and goals, but it's not realistic. And anybody who promises you a linear direction up the mountain is probably not accurate. So with that, I'd just like to thank you for listening to me. I hope something I've said might be of some use. And to pray us out, I'm going to use a little bit of music or chimes. These chimes represent the 8 energy centers in our body, which the yogis call chakras. I don't see this in any way as conflicting with Christianity at all. But for the sake of prayer, I would ask that you just close your eyes, take a deep breath, check yourself from the top of your head right down to a little bit below your feet. Picture a place of about a foot below your feet. And as I play each tone, picture the peace and the light of God entering your head from the top, about a foot up, right through, and going right down your body and out the soles of your feet. This is a very good grounding exercise, I find. So just relax. Realize that you are loved. Realize that you are blessed, even if you're in a valley. Picture the white light of God entering your body from just above your head, about a foot above your head. Moving down a bit. Now entering the top of your head. And whatever this light touches inside you, it's a healing light, it's a comforting light, it's a peaceful light. Now it's in the throat chakra. Your heart. Your stomach, which is a powerful energy center. Often we hold tension there. This is down into your genitals and your groin area. Itself a very sacred place, because that's where life comes from for us. Right through and down about a foot below your feet. Deep breath. Check yourself from head to foot. If you find any tension, let it go. Amen. God bless.